Hello, you know who I am. It's IR Smart. Anyway, so it's been a while since I've just done a video talking to the camera like this. It's kind of good to go back to formula. So anyway, I've been watching a lot of movies lately. And, I assume a lot of people have been stuck at home and that sort of thing. But, I like movies. And so I've been like, hey, remember that one movie I watched when I was like 5? I should watch that movie again. So that's what I did. And in fact, I actually got this for my birthday last year. I got a box collection of the Spider-Man movies. All 5 of them. So of course, that means the 3 good ones and the 2 bad ones. Not including we're not including the Marvel ones. Those are separate. So anyway, we have the iconic Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, with the Spider-Man 2.1 Extended Edition included, and of course, Spider-Man 3. As well as we have the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. Now, I really want to make a video about the Sam Raimi trilogy, because it's absolutely amazing and I love it. However, I think we need to start by talking about the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. Because they're kind of weird. You see, the just regular Spider-Man trilogy with Tobey Maguire was doing fine, until the Sony studio was like, hey, put Venom in Spider-Man 3. And Sam Raimi was like, no, I don't want to. Sony was like, do it anyway. The movie ended up bad. Bing, bada, boom. They rebooted the franchise, and we got this. So yeah, it's been a while. I remember I watched these when they came out, but I was still pretty young, so I didn't remember them very well. And ever since then, I've just heard people saying, oh, Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 are awful. They're so bad. Don't watch them. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to make up my own mind. And I see what people mean. Because, if I'm being honest, they're really not that good. I mean, this was made because Sony didn't like the original trilogy of Spider-Man movies. And then, all of a sudden, these were so bad that they had to sell Spider-Man to Marvel. And then we have the whole Sony-Marvel business that happened afterward. But anyway, we're going to go back in time to these movies. So yeah, I watched them a couple days ago, and it was kind of weird, because I still love Spider-Man. It's one of my favorite, it's probably my favorite superhero, if we're being honest. I love Spider-Man, mostly because of the Sam Raimi trilogy. The Marvel stuff's also great, but this isn't bad either. It's got its own kind of charm to it, but there's also, I can't deny there is a lot of things wrong with it. So, we'll start with Amazing Spider-Man. It's pretty good. It's an okay movie, and for being honest, I don't know. It's not the worst. 2 is definitely worse, but we're just talking about 1 for right now. So, it's still basic, Spider-Man origin story. He gets bit by a spider, his Uncle Ben dies, and he goes and becomes Spider-Man, yada yada yada. Except there's a couple weird things I don't like. I really don't like how they had Andrew Garfield's character. Andrew Garfield did a great job, I think, but he was written badly, if I have to say, because they made him like a cool skater kid, and that's like not Peter Parker at all, I think. He's like already cool before he gets his Spider-Man powers, and one of the things I love about the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is that he's really nerdy and stupid, which is like really true to the character, because then he gets his Spider-Man powers, and he goes off and is Spider-Man, but he's also still kind of Peter Parker in a lot of ways. But the thing is with this Spider-Man, he's starting to be cool, which I see why they wanted to do that, but I think it just strays away from the character too much. Let's go on a bit off on a tangent about Spider-Man and whatnot, yada yada yada. The other thing I did like was that this movie just went straight to Gwen Stacy. I thought that was new and unique, because the other 3 movies with Tom Maguire faced solely on Mary Jane. The 3rd one had Gwen in it for a bit. That was kind of a weird thing. But this movie, they just had full-on Gwen Stacy, and, I think even Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone were dating, like in real life, when they made the movie, which is pretty cool. Whatever. Because, they did do very well together on camera. I think their relation had a couple of weird lines. I blame the writing for that, and the acting was pretty good. It was alright. It's just all kind of weird stuff. And, yeah. Also, the lizard. I thought the whole Dr. Connors thing was cool. It made sense. But the main problem with this trilogy, not trilogy, it's not even a trilogy, it's 2 movies. Come on, Ira Smart, you're better than this. Anyway, the main problem is that it's like way too deep into this whole who are Spider-Man's parents thing. which is weird, because nothing else does that. And I mean, I kind of like the mystery aspect of it, like, oh, there's weird stuff going on here. But it takes away so much from the story. The story really does not change if you would just take that element out. And if anything, it takes away. So that's just kind of bad. The whole, like, oh, Peter's dad made this radioactive spider just so that his son would be bitten and get Spider-Man. It's just this whole convoluted thing. And they also go deeper into it in the second one. It's weird. It's really weird, and I don't like it. It's alright, but I just don't like it. So yeah, that whole thing, and that's related to Dr. Connors. Dr. Connors, going back to him, his whole thing was kind of cool. His like whole plan is kind of stupid, because he turns himself into a lizard, and he's like, yeah, I have 2 arms again, because his whole thing is that he lost an arm, so he wants to grow that arm back. He turns himself into a lizard, and now he wants everybody to be a lizard in New York for some reason. I don't know, it's weird. Also, he looks stupid. I'm just gonna say it. His face looks stupid because it's like a human face, just green and scaly. It's really dumb. If you've seen it, you know what I mean. He looks dumb. Yeah, I mean, of course, like action and special effects, other things. The movie looks good. It is what it is. Yeah, there's not really much more to say there. The movie looks decent, I guess. I don't know what else to say. Spider-Man 1. It's okay. It's not a bad watch. 2 is once we get to 2. So yeah, let's just jump right in. Spider-Man 2, the Amazing Spider-Man 2, suffers from a lot of the problems that Spider-Man 3 suffers from. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Spider-Man 3 because it's hilarious to watch. Like everything in the movie is just so hilarious. Like Peter Parker dancing around New York is amazing. I love that scene. However, there's a lot of things wrong with Spider-Man 3. Being that it's convoluted. And I'll get to that when I talk about the Raimi trilogy in a different video, but today, talking about Spider-Man 2. The main problem is that it has too many villains. Because they're trying to have the Green Goblin as a villain, they're trying to have, like, this Electro guy as a villain, they're trying to have, like, the Phantom Gwen Stacy's dad as a villain. They're, like, I don't know, there's so much going on, it gets really convoluted. And then we also have the whole plot of, you know, the bad guys out to get Peter's dad. That, like the whole start of the movie is this whole sequence on a plane where Peter's dad is getting attacked because he's Peter's dad? I don't know. It's this whole weird thing. That the start of the movie is just, like, bad. I don't know where they were going with that. And then the whole thing is that it just goes back and forth. It's like, oh, this is going on, this is going on, this is going on. The pacing is a mess. It's not easy to follow. There's so much going on. I really don't like that. Now, of course, you know, I love action and special effects. There's great stuff in both of these movies for that. So if you just like watching Spider-Man swing around and hit bad guys, there's tons of that. But if you're actually paying attention to plot and story and stuff, it's a doozy. It's an absolute doozy. Because there's Green Goblin, who has his dad die because there's like a goblin disease or something? I don't know. I don't like how they did the Green Goblin. I thought Harry was a better Green Goblin. And of course, Willem Dafoe was like the best. And then of course we had the Harry, Green Goblin, whatever. So this Harry, this is not a good version of Harry. I did not like this one. Because they just shoehorned it at the beginning of the movie. Shoehorned. I'm sorry, I can't speak. Shoehorned this idea that, oh yeah, Peter and Harry, they've been longtime friends, don't you know? However, Harry wasn't in the first movie at all. So they kind of just threw that in there. And then now, all of a sudden, Harry's like, oh, I'm dying of this disease. And Peter, I need Spider-Man's blood. Go get Spider-Man's blood for me. And he's like, nah, I don't want to. And it's like, what? And Spider-Man shows up at Harry's house just to say, no, I'm not going to give you my blood, and leaves. Like, what? Just give him your blood, Spider-Man. It's not that difficult. It's not going to hurt him. I mean, he does it later anyway, and it kind of screws him up. But, like, I don't know. Just do it. Let him figure it out on his own. I don't know. He's gonna die anyway. Like, anyway, it's just weird. The whole Goblin thing doesn't make sense. And then he kills Gwen at the end of the movie. You've probably already known about this for like a while. This is an old movie. Yeah, he kills Gwen. That's the thing. It's based off the snap from the comics, where Green Goblin throws Stacy off a bridge. Spider-Man, does the web thing and tries to catch her. And then she dies from the snap of her neck, which is this whole thing. It's crazy in the comics, and they try to do it in the movie, which it kind of was alright, but it's also just kind of weird, because then Spider-Man's like all sad for a while, and then he goes away, and there's like a rhino or something at the end of the movie, and then that goes nowhere because the movie ends. And yeah, the whole movie is just, I'm trying to explain the movie off the top of my head, and I can't, because I can't remember. I watched this last week, and I honestly can't remember how the plot goes, because it's so convoluted. Also, Electro, he was there the whole time, but he's just there. Like, he's a guy that fell into a pit of electric eels, and now he is mad because no one knows who he is, or something. It's so weird, because he goes into Times Square, and he sees, like, oh, look, it's me on all the Times Square screens, because I'm going around murdering people. If I go around murdering more people, I'll get more publicity. It's like, what? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, Spider-Man's fighting back against this bad guy, and then the screen switch to Spider-Man. And he's like, no, Spider-Man's evil. He's taking all my publicity. This isn't fair. I'm supposed to be popular now because I'm Electro. It's so dumb. Electro's a cool character, but his whole, I don't know, it's a mess. Anyway, I'm just ranting about Spider-Man now. These are bad movies, I will say that, but they're enjoyable to watch. There's definitely good parts, you know, there's some decent acting from certain characters, you know. Action sequences are great. The special effects are very good in this one, I will say. Except for, of course, the lizard. The lizard looks stupid. But, you know, that's just a design choice. It doesn't look bad CGI, it just looks dumb. I don't like the design of it. Anyway, I've just gone on a rant about Spider-Man because I love Spider-Man. It's good to be critical of things you love. This is why I'm so critical of things like Star Wars, Spider-Man, and all sorts of movies. Going back to it, I love movies. Spider-Man, Amazing Spiderman, it's alright. I'd give it a watch. If you haven't watched it in a while, Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. But of course, the Sam Raimi trilogy, where'd I put that? It's over here. It's the best. You need to watch this. Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. There are definitely some problems, and I want to make a movie on the trilogy sometime soon, because it's great, and I love it. A little bit biased. A little bit, but, yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. I just kind of, just went off. I didn't have any paper to go off or anything. I just kind of went off the top of my head. That's what I usually do when I make this sort of thing. So, yeah, thanks if you stuck around. I don't know if this is really going to be entertaining to watch, but that goes for everything I make. So, if you did stick around, thank you for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe. All the usual stuff. I've gone on for long enough. Now go enjoy your day. Bye, everybody.